Welcome back to the Coliseum. We're just about set to go. The A's and the Indians, and the Athletics will wear the gold tops, certainly in honor of the 1972 Athletics, who are just now leaving the field. 2 guys per automobile. Very nice pregame ceremony. The A's did a terrific job. And Ray, I know you watched it closely. A lot of your good friends. It was very nice.
We celebrated the 30th anniversary of those 3 consecutive championships. But this is the first year that the current manager of the A's ball club has had his entire team out on the field behind the red carpet welcoming all those players as they were introduced. Never seen that done before, and that's the respect Bob Melvin, as the current manager, has for this organization, wearing the number 6 because of Captain Sal Bando. They were together in Milwaukee. He grew up watching the A's and the Giants, and he said it's an honor to put on this uniform. And telling Chip Hell tonight, as they were putting on the jersey, he said, first time this year wearing the gold jersey. Isn't it great? So it was great to see the players down there, and if nothing else, it's been 1989 since the A's won a world championship, but these players currently playing, and you know, maybe it's a long shot, but at least they can shake the hands of the guys that did it 3 consecutive seasons, and maybe that will help them in their future.
There's nothing wrong with knowing the history of the team you play for.
That's right.
A's certainly have a great history. We'll come back to the Coliseum in just a moment, give it the lineups, and then we'll get this ball game going. It's the A's and the Indians coming up. Is open this weekend. Mother Nature has certainly done her part this weekend. It is just a gorgeous night for baseball. 77 degrees. We don't say that number very often for a night game at the Coliseum. It's beautiful. Shirt sleeve crowd. It is an earlier start, but boy, what a perfect night for baseball. Just a light breeze.
One of the things people are talking about, and it's just April the 21st. I mean, it's not like it's June to have this kind of weather, but September, October, usually these nights, these days and nights are typical, but not in April. So it's a special weekend, and of course the weather is fantastic. Great crowd on hand, and they just need to put together some runs and let Brandon McCarthy do his normal style of pitching and take advantage of all those things put together. And you know, wearing the gold jerseys for the first time, I think everything is all set for tonight, and they can have a good game. That would make it even more of a special night.
Well, and I can tell you that for the A's players of 2012, it means a lot to see some people in the seats.
Absolutely. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Raleigh Fingers bobblehead, the lines. I know you get out here early, and it's amazing to see the lines of people. People had picnic, our chairs reclining, and who knows, they may have slept here last night outside the opening of 66th Street, 66th Avenue. But no, this is nice and good crowd. And you know, Bob Millen said it on opening night, sellout crowd plus. He said this ball club needs to play a good game.
No question.
And they need to do it again tonight. These fans need to see the capabilities of the current ball club, and it means playing a good game.
So Brandon McCarthy leads the Athletics out onto the field. And the lineup that he will face tonight for the Indians, it's exactly like last night. Brantley, Kipnis, Chu, Santana, Hafner, Duncan, KOTCHMAN, Hanahan, and Donald. There's your Cleveland Indians starting lineup for tonight.
And it is once again Brandon McCarthy on the mound for the Athletics. And of course, Brandon a little bit upset with himself because of maybe inconsistency, as he has not won a game yet, but yet he has pitched well enough to do exactly that. Just 4 walks in 25 innings. That's normal. Actually, it's probably too many walks from his standpoint, but he's a good pitcher, and of course he's become a ground ball pitcher thanks to the two-seamer that he throws, and his angle changed from a fly ball pitcher to a ground ball pitcher, and he has been outstanding in that regard. And the old saying goes, you get him runs, take a chance he's going to win the game.
Defense for the Athletics tonight. Johnny Gomes in left, YDENIS Cespedes in center, and Josh Reddick in right. SOGARD, Pennington, Weeks, and Martin on the infield with Kurt Suzuki back behind the plate tonight. So McCarthy is ready to go. Kurt Suzuki got most of the night off last night. So there you see the shadows. The shadow is between the pitcher's mound and second base right now.
Well, the 72 team knows the shadows because that's called postseason baseball. And you get the East Coast start time at about 8:15, 8:30, which is 5:15 here. And so the shadows are pretty much part of the game in September and October. And here we have them in April.
McCarthy's first pitch of the ball game to Michael Brantley is in for a strike this Earth Week. Get in the game. Donating old sporting goods. Green plays here. Comcast Sportsnet. Michael Brantley, Jason Kipnis, Shin-Soo Choo, the top 3 hitters that McCarthy will face here in the first inning. Indians won last night by a final score of 4-3. Wasn't the prettiest game ever played. Both teams a little off, but in the end, the Indians hung on and got the win.
Well, unfortunately for Graham Godfrey, he walked, as he said, more batters than he's ever walked, and he got a two-hour car ride to Sacramento as he was optioned to AAA.
And the A's bullpen pitched a fair amount lately. So
that's exactly what Kurt Young said. And, you know, it's kind of unfortunate, but because the bullpen has worked. And unfortunately, Bartolo Colon did what he did Wednesday, because Thursday, Friday, the bullpen has been worked considerably.
So the A's called up left-handed reliever Pedro Figueroa. And he was a reliever this year. He has also started quite a bit in the minor leagues. So Figueroa up, and that is him right there sitting next to De Los Santos. And Graham Godfrey goes back down. This one lofted toward left center field. Pretty good charge into this one. Gomes all the way to the warning track, catches it, goes into a slide right in front of the wall. Very nice play by Johnny Gomes. He went from the shadow into the sunshine, and that may have made the play even a little bit more difficult.
We saw last night how well the ball carries with these warm temperatures, and again, this ball continued to carry opposite field by Brantley, and Johnny Gomes could care less about a warning track, a wall. He goes into the slide to avoid the banging into the wall, but he got it anyway. But Johnny is a gamer. He loves to play, and he's happy his uniform's already dirty.
So one out for Jason Kipnis.
He had a long run over his shoulder, of course, just like a football player, catching a pass, going into the end zone, although he went into the wall.
Kipnis flips one to shallow left field, and Gomes is not going to be able to get to this one. It drops in front of him. Kipnis with a base hit. So 1 out single. That'll bring up Chu.
One of the tough plays here. Tough for Pennington to go out, but for Johnny Gomes, you just saw a ball go over your head, so you know the ball's carrying well. So maybe playing a little bit deeper, but still a ball that's going to be difficult to catch in.
.234 the average for Shin-Soo Choo. Got 9 RBIs.
Derek Barton trying to crouch out of the sunlight, trying to get into the shadows, which looks like he's accomplished it.
So just hold the pickoff attempts till the second inning. That's what Derek was probably saying.
Oh, the exhibition stadium in Toronto was the worst.
That's right.
Catchers and first base.
Well, it wasn't a double decker, right? That had a lot to do with it.
That's because it was an exhibition stadium. It was probably, well, you probably went there to watch your brother play in the snow when it snowed.
I do remember being there a long time ago.
You never knew what you were getting there. And when the exhibition came, you better be finished baseball, because they had preference over everything.
One flipped into left field, the base hit for Chu. He just kind of reached out, poked it in the left.
Well, 3 left-handed hitters, and all 3 going opposite field, and they're waiting well. McCarthy changes speeds very effectively. Could be a possibility of not being able to see the ball very well. McCarthy going out of the sun into the shadows. But maybe it's a nice approach. Pitch away, and instead of Chu rolling over on the pitch and maybe into a double play, instead to the opposite field and back-to-back hits. Fortunately, Johnny Gomes made the catch he did.
Here's Carlos Santana, switch hitting catcher. And McCarthy's last start on Monday in Anaheim. He pitched fairly well, but he gave up the 3-run homer in the first inning to Kendrys Morales. Morales went to left center. McCarthy settled down after that, but it was a 3-run shot. Two and 0. Santana had a hit last night, scored a run, he walked twice. So McCarthy in a bit of trouble here in the first.
Well, being a ground ball pitcher that he has transformed himself into, that's what he's looking for now. Get a ground ball, get a double play.
And that one is called the strike by Alan Porter, who's calling balls and strikes tonight.
And look at what McCarthy tried to do with Kendrys Morales. Remember, he tried to elevate the 0-2 fastball and left it about belt high. Kendrys Morales' power is to the opposite field. He showed it once again that he can go that direction.
Good pitch there, right on the outside corner, 2-2. So McCarthy has bounced back to get a couple of strikes called.
Brandon throws a very nice cut fastball, and of course the 2 and 4 seam fastball mixes them nicely with a solid curveball.
Two pitch is high, 3-2. See if the runners may take off. It's early. Kipnis at second, Chu at first.
Dangerous Travis Hafner, another lefty in the on deck circle.
Runners not going, and the ball is hit down off Santana's leg somewhere.
Like the cutter inside off the right foot. And he's thinking, I got to catch 9 innings. Bang. Ooh, that's with the shin guard down around his ankle.
So he's getting plenty of time to walk it off. So we'll do it again. Full count to to Santana. Pitch is low. He walked him. So they're loaded for Hafner.
Batting in the 5th position. Designated hitter.
Well, we're going to talk to some of the guys from that
Travis
1972
HAFNER.
team periodically throughout the game. Hoping to get Gene Tennis up here, the MVP, Ken Holzman. Scheduled to come up and visit with us a half an inning. Talked with Joe Rudy and Raleigh Fingers last night, which was a lot of fun.
If those guys come up, we'll keep them longer than a half inning. Heck with radio. They can have radio afterwards.
That's right. Heck with radio.
At least tonight.
Hafner takes a strike from McCarthy, so McCarthy gets ahead of Hafner.
Well, remember last night when Hafner was up, Jordan Alberto pitching, he swung wildly at a couple of sliders, not even close, but then settled out and ended up drawing the walk. So he can be very selective, but also very aggressive, as was the case last night. Surprising he took this first pitch from McCarthy.
This one dribbled right side. McCarthy's going to pick it up. He'll get the out at first. Run comes in to score. That's Kipnis. So Hafner gets the RBI on the ground out, and the Indians get a 1-0 lead.
Batting in the 6th position.
So RBI number 7.
Number 47, SHELLEY.
I guess you could say what Hafner is capable of doing with the baseball. Nice that he rolled over on a pitch and you at least got one out.
So here's Shelley Duncan. So Chu now at third, Santana at second. Shelley Duncan's father, Dave, was part of the pregame ceremony. It's good to see him. He looks good, in good shape.
Has to be very strange for him to not be with a team.
We're in a dugout.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you think about it. You do something, even as announcers, but you do something for so long. Talk about Dave Duncan, you're talking 30, 40 years, but and in baseball, games start the same. You know what I mean? There's such a ritual that people involved in baseball go through, and if that is all of a sudden you don't do that anymore, huge adjustment.
Well, and I don't know. I know playing against him in '66, he was a Modesto with great ball club that was an A's organization, and then got to the big leagues and played, and then pitching coach with Tony La Russa forever. So
there you go.
It might be late '60s or mid '60s.
Wow.
Last time he was not on a field in uniform.
And that thing goes around 2-2. Well, you're so used to on the road, get on the bus at 4 o'clock. Game starts at 7.
That's us. For those guys,
yeah, that's true.
In a cab at 1 and back maybe by midnight. So long days for the coaching staff.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Duncan strikes out. So McCarthy works his way out of the jam. The Indians do get one. They lead 1-0. For the Athletics tonight, it'll start with JEMILE Weeks, as always. Weeks in the leadoff spot. Then Pennington, Reddick, Cespedes, Smith, Gomes, Barton, Suzuki, and Sogard.
Jedmar Gomez, a couple of starts against the A's last year. Of course, I think he's going to start a suspension tomorrow. He's got a 5-game suspension because of Kansas City, but he will start tonight. Good 2-seam fastball and a 4-seam with a slider and a changeup. Ground ball pitcher, so the A's would like to get him elevated a few pitches.
Gomez first pitch to Weeks is outside. Jedmar Gomez. We'll tell you about his strange start to this 2012 season. 2-0.
That's a good pitch to lay off because it is a 2-seamer. He does have a lot of movement, and if he's a ground ball pitcher, he wants to keep the ball down.
Weeks bluffs the butt low, 3-0. Chu is going to fight that sun for a while. And the 3-0 pitch, outside corner call to strike. Weeks hitting .206, couple of home runs and 3 RBIs. And that one called a strike. Didn't look like it was, but may have been outside.
The ball really ran, plus a little bit high, so Alan Porter calling both the low and the high strike. A couple of ground ball pitchers.
See Mike Gallego said, I've fielded enough ground balls in my life.
Yes.
I'm not going to reach.
Gaggs is smart. You never see him.
He didn't move.
No, he never puts his body in front. Yeah, he said he can't see it. Yeah.
Another foul ball. Pennington in the on deck circle, then Reddick here in the first inning. That one's hit hard into right field, a base hit. Leadoff single for Weeks. That'll bring up Pennington. Defensively for the Indians, we have Duncan in left, Brantley in center, Chu in right, Hanahan and Donald on the left side, Kipnis and KOTCHMAN on the right side, with Santana again behind the plate tonight. So Pennington steps in. So Ray, the Gomez situation. Now he is considered the 5th starter for the Indians. Okay, so he's all set to make his first start. They get rained out. So the next night after the rainout, he comes in the game in relief, pitches a couple innings. He still hasn't made his first start. When he does make his first start, it's in Kansas City. Was it last Saturday or Sunday? I believe Saturday. Then he ends up getting kicked out of the game because there was a little bit of a bench clearing brawl. Warnings were given. And he hit Mike Moustakas.
After the warning,
yeah. Got thrown out of the game. So he only pitched 2 innings. So he did make a start, but was gone in the 3rd.
And suspended for 5 games. Yep. So he appealed the suspension so he could pitch tonight. And pretty good chance he'll start he'll drop the appeal tomorrow, as did Waldo Jimenez after his spring training incident. So Manny Acta is having to manipulate the pitchers and time off to handle the suspensions.
And the Indians will have Monday off. So Gomez, he's just happy to maybe pitch deeper into a game than the 3rd inning. Michael Brantley in center field is under it. He's got it. This was the action Now this was after Jonathan Sanchez hit Shin-Soo Choo.
And both pitches had been warned, so it's an automatic ejection by the pitcher and the manager as well.
So things did get pretty heated in this whole situation. And Jack Hanahan was fined. Jack was hot about something. First pitch to Reddick. Weeks takes off. Pitch is a strike. The throw is high. And backing up is Kipnis. So Weeks has a steal. Second stolen base for Weeks.
Well, he looked like he wanted to run with Pennington at the plate. Did not, but great jump. Reddick took the pitch. Was a strike. Looks like that was a planned play with the overthrow. Is there a starter block out there?
I'd say he was definitely going.
But see what he did also, like he did last year twice, where he overslid the bag. And was out twice last year doing that. I think he's anxious now. It's surprising to see him leaning that much and almost fall down, yet the pitcher didn't throw over. I have to remind people that a pitcher is directed by the catcher, who's directed by the bench coach or the manager, whether he's going to throw over or not. So to see somebody leaning, just naturally you'd look over and see that and say, well, he told me not to throw over, but I'm going to anyway, because I think he might be running. Especially with JEMILE leaning as much as he was.
Reddick, it's a pop-up down the third base line. Donald, the shortstop, reaches up and makes the catch. So this is JEMILE Weeks. He had this last year. So he starts his head first slide just a little bit too late. I mean, look, his chest is right near the bag when he's hitting the ground, and he shoots right past the bag.
Well, guys that do that, see the left foot? Normally the left foot kind of drags, and you put the toe in the bag will stop it. That's if you slide normally. If you slide far enough out in front of the bag, because the momentum's going to carry you through, and the foot will stop you.
But he's going past good 2-3 feet.
Yeah. Well, that's if the throw's there and the infielder holds the tag, it's going to be out.
2 outs for Cespedes, who takes us just a bit outside. 1-0 the count to Yoenis, hitting .265, 4 homers, 14 RBIs. Coming into the action today, he was tied for first in the American League with the 14 ribbies. That one is a strike in the outside corner.
Readings, one of the experts today talking about he has to learn how to adjust and hit a breaking ball. He knows how to hit a breaking ball. He can adjust, and that's the pitch that he's been hitting the most. Fastball has kind of been thrown past him.
That one runs inside. Ben Cespedes back a little bit.
Well, even though Smith, the left-hander, is in the on-deck circle, first base is open, and you know, as hot as Cespedes has been and as strong as he has been swinging the bat, this is where Seth Smith might get an opportunity with a runner in scoring position.
And the difference is, you're right, Cespedes is swinging the bat well. Seth Smith is struggling right now. So we'll see what the Indians do with Cespedes. The count is 2-1. Kipnis staying near the bag. 2-1 slider, and Cespedes missed it. 2-2.
Open up just enough for the slider outside. Again, as he and has shown that he has the power to any part of the field, if he can stay on a pitch like that and drive it to right center, and if it stays inside, pull it.
He takes that one.
Don't be surprised if it's another one. And it's kind of the baseball right now. There's not much of a challenge anymore of just throwing a fastball. You try to get a hitter to swing wildly at a breaking pitch. Not concerned if you walk it.
And he lays off that one, and it is a walk.
Well, that's respect. There's no doubt the respect of Cespedes and his power and trying to get him to swing at bad breaking balls.
In the fifth position, designated hitter, number 15, Seth Smith.
So here is Seth Smith hitting in the 5th spot. The average at 189 for Smith. He's 0 for his last 8 and 3 for his last 28. And Smith takes a fastball, tailing action to strike in the outside corner. Smith was 0 for 4 last night. He did get on base with a walk. And weeks go, so does Cespedes, and they're both going to make it.
The last night, Santana and the Indians used a very good play with 1 out, 1st and 2nd. Cespedes stole 3rd. Seth Smith was thrown out at 2nd, but nobody's covering 2nd. Weeks had Hanahan cover 3rd, but no chance, and Santana just said, here comes the ball back to pitch. Don't have a chance. So double steal, see if the A's can capitalize on it.
1-1 pitch, popped up. Hanahan is over near the tarp. He's got room, and he makes the catch. So Smith fouls out. The A's steal 3 bags in the 1st inning, but they get no runs. 1-0 Cleveland after 1.
Athletics Magazine features
Credit Union. Provident Credit Union. Super Reward Checking is better than free. They pay you. Sweet ride. Ray, I zoomed by you on the freeway and you were driving that baby. When did you get that? That's nice, man. See Ray Fosse driving that Ace car? Awesome. Shooting down 680.
I can see you, but probably not me.
Oh, that's awesome. KOTCHMAN, Hanahan, and Donald here in the 2nd inning.
We're talking about hits with runners in score position anymore. Is that a statistic we're not even going to?
We stop talking about it.
Good.
We try to be givers of information, and read what the numbers are, right?
We want to stay
We're
positive.
not happy about it.
That's not a good one. We want the positive numbers.
Strike called, and it's 2-2 to Kotchman. We'll just say this. Runners in scoring position has been a little bit better lately. The A's still looking for a few more timely hits. Kotchman takes inside, so a full count.
Yeah, Cap, we saw Brandon McCarthy pitch so well last year, and the one thing that he didn't do a lot of, first of all, throw a lot of pitches, and 3-2 counts. He's already had 3 in the first 7 batters.
Yeah, he was just a strike thrower last year. Kotchman 170 with just a couple of home runs. Shouldn't say just a couple of home runs. The batting average is low. And he takes down and in. So a leadoff walk, second walk issued by McCarthy. I'm going to bring up Jack Hanahan, who was the hitting star last night. He had 3 RBIs.
Hanging backdoor curveball down the line, and
Jack Hanahan.
he has definitely done well for Manny Acta. Acta showing a lot of confidence in him, playing third, swinging the bat, and formerly with the Athletics.
First pitch outside to Hanahan.
This might be a case of a manager wanting to keep everybody kind of in place, but here's Hanahan hitting 8th. 300+ average, 11 runs batted in, most on the ball club.
Well, he can do some damage down at the bottom. This one's toward left center, and Gomes will play it on a hop. Hanahan has another hit. Jack Hanahan hurt the A's last year as well.
Yes, he did.
So 2 on, nobody out. Ninth place hitter Jason Donald steps in.
And another opposite field hit. So the Indians doing a very good job taking the outside pitches from McCarthy and not trying to pull. And the one thing that hurt Graham Godfrey last night is that the Indians are a pretty patient ball club, and they took pitches that maybe other clubs would be swinging at. Not the Indians, and 5 walks later. Just a tough night for Graham Godfrey.
Donald bunts toward Barton. Barton's going to try for third, and he makes a nice play, and they get the lead run. Barton charged it well, set his feet, and made a nice throw.
That's why it's always important if you're a hitter to bunt the ball to the third baseman. You have the first baseman charging. He's not concerned about the runner at first. And Barton, very good, accurate arm, and he showed it off there. And Eric Sogard started to charge, got back to the bag, so the A is able to cut down the lead runner. But as a hitter, we talk about it often. If you force the third baseman to field the ball, he can't get back to the bag and cover, so you're going to advance the runners. It looks like Jason Donald a little bit more comfortable just trying to bunt the ball to the right side.
Top of the order, Michael Brantley steps in. Breaking ball for a strike. But the Indians and all these team statistics, you have to keep in mind it's very early yet, but they do lead the American League in walks. Whether that continues, we shall see. At least through their first 12 games they have. Off of McCarthy. Pennington's got it to Wiggs. Double called safe at first. Almost a sensational double play. McCarthy got a glove on it. And a very close play at first.
Now Brandon McCarthy fortunately got a glove on it, and fortunately Cliff Pennington, who was going to go field what he thought have a chance of the ball up the middle. But there's the deflection over to Pennington, who retraced his steps and very quickly, had it not been for the speed of Brantley, and they almost got him anyway if they didn't get him. But JEMILE Wiggs had to throw flat foot, and there's a case too. Brantley, the base runner, the hitter, jumping at the bag, staying elevated, almost cost him.
And it looks like McCarthy's going to get out of it, and he does. So Brandon McCarthy strands 2 more. 4 stranded by the Indians in the first 2 innings. 1-0 Tribe. Asks, hey Ray, how psyched were you in the offseason when you got traded to the 1972 World Series champion?
I was shocked.
Well, it happened pretty late, right? It was in spring training, correct?
Yeah, about 10 days ago in spring training, and to be honest, I was shocked because I never thought I'd be traded, and I was hoping I would not be traded. I grew up, did the game, the history of the game kind of, and felt that the club I signed with, I wanted to stay with my entire career and maybe even establish residency in that city, which I actually did. But so when it happened, I was shocked. Johnny Gomes is not shocked. He can hit. But, you know, the way it happened, my wife and I were driving around. We had an off day, and John Lowenstein was on the team and living in the apartment next. And I got there, and he said, Phil Segui wants to see you at the park. It's the off day. Had I been driving another half hour, I would have heard it on the radio. Wow. Because Charlie wanted to make the announcement. And actually went to the park, and he said, been traded to Oakland. Drove up to Mesa, and Charlie said, I want you to come up and take pictures, photographs, because we got the yearbook together. And Dick Williams said, photographs my you-know-what. He says, you have to learn this pitching staff, so you're catching. I caught Catfish Hunter the first day. And
so you didn't have a lot of time to adjust then.
No.
I mean, it happened quickly. The Indians get the lead runner.
Yeah, it was very quick. But, you know, to learn a pitching staff, Catfish Hunter, Kenny Holtzman, Vida Blue, Blue Moon Odom, Raleigh Fingers, put the glove, they hit it, and that was pretty much it. So, no, great staff in that season. So, I mean, I was shocked once it happened, and I realized that I was going from a team that we dreamed of winning opening day, knowing we're going to be in last place by the end of the season, to a team that had already won the World Championship. And I was disappointed more than anything that they'd already won. I figured not going to repeat, but I was fortunate to be with the club a couple of years and benefit from the championship seasons of 73 and 74 after they won it in 72.
So why was the trade made? I mean, A's needed a catcher. I mean, they had Gene Tennis, but he didn't really want to catch, right?
No, and Duncan, I really don't know what happened, to be honest.
Because you were traded for Dave Duncan.
Right. It was catcher for catcher, and up until last year, George Hendrick was upset with me because of the trade, which he was on the team also in 72. And he was upset with me because he thought I said, George, I had nothing to do with it, you know. I said it was Charlie Finley making the trade, and evidently Phil Segui said if we make the trade, Duncan, for Fossey, I want George Hendrick because I need a center fielder. And George was part of that trade as well.
Suzuki reaches for it. Now, you had played in Reno, though, right? So, I mean, you weren't necessarily in the Bay Area, but you...
Yeah, that was... when you're 19 playing in Reno, that doesn't work.
So you didn't know a lot about the Bay Area, I guess.
Nothing. We're just coming into play. Yeah. I did come into play in seasons of through 72, actually playing the A's in Oakland. Of course, they came in 68 and actually came out here 69, 70, and 72.
So you weren't driving around saying, you know, when I get traded to the A's, I'd like to live out maybe in the East Bay.
Well, you know, my wife's from Tracy. Carol's from Tracy, of course, up in the valley, and so we were familiar because when we'd come in, we'd drive up there, which was much different than there was no 580 at the time. So familiar, but you know, it's just one of those road trips coming in to play the A's and down to Anaheim, and that was it.
Suzuki to left center field. That's going to get down for a hit. Barton will make it easily to third. So the A's have first and third, one out here in the bottom of the second.
That's a good sight for Kurt Suzuki. Really stayed on the ball very nicely and battled, and Derek Barton hustling to avoid a double play that could have been 2 outs before Suzuki got the base hit. But a 2-2 pitch, ball tailed right back in the middle of the plate, and Suzuki stayed on it, and he's above the Mendoza line, which is good.
So Eric Sogard with an opportunity to tie up this ball game. Sogard checks his swing, and it's outside.
These are opportunities the A's really have to take advantage of. The infield back, so Sogard needs some sort of a fly ball, obviously base hit, something like the tying run.
That one is a strike to Sogard, hitting 167 with a homer and 3 RBIs. Sogard in the lineup last night as well. He was 0 for 3 with a walk. Sogard getting a little more playing time lately. Josh Donaldson just really struggling offensively. But he's ready if called. Sogard swing and a miss. Nasty pitch there.
A good changeup just kept floating away from the left-handed hitting Sogard. And probably the best thing Sogi did is miss it, because that's the last thing you want to do is roll over and hit a ground ball that might result in a double play. And remember, Gomez is a ground ball pitcher.
Two pitches, line right to the shortstop Donald, and knocked him over. Tough break there for Sogard. That ball was scalded right at the shortstop.
When you talk about perfect positioning, Sogard just trying to protect it, maybe even going opposite field. He started, but right to where Donald had positioned himself. And Donald was there probably setting up for possible double play. Closer to the bag, as is the case of Kipnis at second.
So it's up to JEMILE Weeks, who led off the game, or led off the bottom of the first with a base hit. Barton still at third with Suzuki at first. There's that second changeup, kind of floats away from left-handed hitters. 40 pitches already for Gomez. And we are not through the second inning. Outside corner.
Santana wanted the slider down and in, and he left it in the outside part of the plate. And the Tommy cam showing it. Again, Santana inside, but sometimes you get away with a pitch that stays right in the middle, right in the heart of the plate.
So Weeks behind in the count. The 1-2 pitch is low. Gomez throwing a lot of off-speed pitches. He stranded a couple of runners in the first inning. Timeout call as Gomez shook off a dozen pitches. Now he's ready.
When a catcher takes off his catcher's mitt and starts using both hands, you know you're in trouble. Too many pitches.
That one bounced towards second. So the A's are going to strand a pair in the second inning. So the big hit is not there for the Athletics so far. 1-0 Indians after 2. Home run in his first at bat, home run in his second at bat, and he just kept hitting them in the World Series. So much so that he got the MVP award.
He has a patent on that swing.
They kept throwing it right in my wheelhouse.
So we're thrilled to have Gino up in the booth. So, Gene, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Hey, it's my pleasure. You kidding me? This is nice.
It is nice.
Yeah,
see all the people you brought out?
Yeah. Well, you know, we got some great guys sitting out there in center field that was a huge part of that success in 72 and 3 and 4. So
how much fun you guys having?
We have a good time. Oh, man. I tell you, the stories are getting better and better the older we get.
But you still laugh at them, right?
Oh, yeah, you got to. I mean, that's what it's all about. We got nothing else. We don't have too much to look forward to at this age of the game. But, no, we've had a lot of fun up there with guys.
Well, that's great. Nice ceremony. Nice pregame ceremony.
The A's did a great job. I tell you, it was really nice. I like to those kids, the players, kids, but those young men out there, you know, standing out there, that was special.
It's the first time that's ever happened.
I was going to say, you know what, I've never seen that before. I thought that was a nice touch.
And that's a result of Bob Miller, who, as soon as he got the job in June, He came down in the dugout in Chicago, turned around, said, "Look at the number 6, Sal Bando."
You know what? He's a good man. I don't know Bob that well, and I talked to him briefly the last time I was here a week ago to throw out the first pitch, and he's a baseball man.
Oh yes.
And he knows history, and he's obviously. Did he grow up in this area?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Bay Area. Yeah.
Okay, and that's why he said what he said to me when he said, that he was a great fan when we were playing here. So, no, I was impressed with him.
Well, and just to see the current A's lineup beyond the red carpet as you guys walked in, and no, that was special. And again, it was all a result of the skipper insisting. I saw on the note downstairs it said 540 on the field, and that was because of him.
I'll tell you what, I probably won't get a chance to see him, but when you do, tell him I really appreciate the gesture, and it was class. Yeah. It was all class right there.
Well, there's a look at the career of Gene Tenace. How about that baseball card? That's what, 68 maybe?
That was 12, I think. How time goes by.
201 career home runs.
Now, you've got to explain, because everybody knows the success you had in the World Series in '72, but how did it get to the point where you ended up catching in the World Series?
That's a good question. Actually, Duncan was the number one catcher primarily the entire season, and all of a sudden, sometime in August, Dick Williams called me in and said, "Hey, you're my number one catcher. I don't care what you hit, just catch this staff." And I guess him and Duncan maybe had a little little personal problems. So he inserted me in the lineup, and I stayed there. And when we were in second place, Chicago was in first place. And then when I started catching, I wasn't swinging the bat that well, but we got on a roll winning Chicago. We ended up back in first place, and we continued to stay there until the season was over. Then we went into playoffs against Detroit. And I was like 0 for 15. The funny thing about that was, though, really nobody even probably paid a whole lot of attention to, because when you're 0 for 15, it doesn't matter where you're hitting it, you're 0 for 15. But I was hitting the ball pretty daggone good. It wasn't like I was striking out every time up, And all of a sudden, it seemed like I got in a series in Cincinnati, and everything I hit, it either fell in or went over the fence. You know how crazy this stinking game is. I mean, you get in a groove, or you're seeing the ball that good, and you can't explain it.
Is it because you're from Ohio? It was Cincinnati?
That's a funny thing. You know what? I grew up 2 hours from Cincinnati, east down the river. And the first day we went in there, I had one rider. And in the World Series you played in, that there's so many people on that field, you can hardly get to the batting cage. This one guy talked to me out of all the hundreds of media people, and he was from my hometown. The next day, after the first game, it seemed like I had 200 people around me. I mean, it was just that crazy.
So you hit 5 home runs in the regular season.
Yeah, 5.
And then 4 in the World Series.
Yeah, it was a good year.
That's awesome.
In 7 games.
In a month. That was a good month.
You picked the right time, no doubt about it.
But, that's a misleading stat, too, if you look at it, because I wasn't playing.
Exactly.
I hit 225. I hit 5 home runs, and I don't know, probably 20 ribbies.
Sure.
But I was a backup catcher. I only got to play maybe once a week. But Duncan was, the regular catcher. So, and then the following year, though, then those numbers started to, surface what I could do if I got out there on a regular basis, and they put me at first base because I had arm trouble, and in the World Series. They stole 13 bases off of me. I thought they were going to steal this stinking car from me.
For one of the MVP.
I said, man, somebody got to throw somebody out, and they're going to take my car, too. So Duncan, it was crazy. You guys don't remember I played first base in the 7th game of the World Series? Now, can you imagine anybody in their right mind would put somebody at first base that never played it before in the 7th game of the World Series? Dick Williams called me up. Hoping I'm not taking too much. He called me up.
No, it's your show.
With my paycheck.
You got the car.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, what was I? You got me. So Dick Williams calls me up in the hotel like 9 o'clock at night. He said, "Hey, be at the ballpark at 8 o'clock in the morning. We got a day game. 8 o'clock in the morning. See, I'm going to work you out of first base." I thought, man, when I hung up, I told Linda, my wife, said, the man lost his mind. He put me in first base, 7th game in the World Series. So now we get to the park. And Cincinnati wouldn't let him use the field, so they could work me out. So he's got Mike Keegan, which was a great defensive first baseman. So he got this thing set up in there. You remember the clubhouse of Cincinnati? I mean, you could almost take infield because it was so long. It wasn't really wide, but it was real deep. Well, he got a bag down there. And he got Vern Hoshike hitting ground balls on this carpet, and he was killing me with these ground balls. I said, God dog it, the ball's going to come off that stuff out there? I said, you got to kill. I got no chance. Well, I tell you, he was beating me up. And, you know, being a catcher, your first instinct is...
Hold your tongue. We've got to go to a break. That's the third out. So
make sure that I don't forget where I'm at in the story.
We'll continue our chat with
Make your way into the crowd, man.
Tennis.
Concessions.
You got the carpet. You're getting ready to play first base. I just want to remind you where you were.
And Mike Keegan, you know, was trying to get working with me the footwork around the bag, and came out of it with a lot of stinking bruises because Vern Hoshike, he didn't like catchers, and apparently he didn't like first basemen either. He was wearing me out with that fungo in this clubhouse. I swear, if you could have had a film crew in there and shot this thing, they'd still be showing this on the bloopers. Bloopers, no question, I tell you. But the thing is, though, I don't know if you guys remember Duncan, but Joe Morgan got on, and Blue Moon Hold'em had a tremendous pickoff. And all of our pitchers, really held runners extremely well. They were great athletes in that sense, but he kept throwing over there and kept throwing. Of course, I'm blocking the plate. I got catching instincts. I don't have first base instincts at all. And and he's yelling at the umpire. I said, man, he's killing me over here. You can't block the plate. I mean, I actually blocked it where couldn't even get to the bag. Really? And the umpire come over and says, you can't do that. I said, man, I don't know. I'm used to catching him over there. You can block it over there, but you can't block it over here. And Raleigh threw about. No, Raleigh. Moons threw about 6-7 throws over there. And I'm just wearing out Joe Morgan. And then finally he decided, the heck with this, I got to get away from this guy. And he takes off, and Duncan threw him out. I'm going to tell you what, he threw him out. He threw a rocket down there, and they tagged him out. And that was huge. I'm going to tell you what, that was a big stinking play.
But amazing. You're concerned about Game 7 in the World Series, trying to win your first World Championship. And you're in the clubhouse taking ground balls off of the clubhouse carpet to play first base that you've never done before.
You'll be talking that as long as you get this job. I'm going to tell you, because that's a classic. You're not too many people, I guarantee you, they don't know it now, but there ain't too many people knew that ever transpired.
Now everybody knows.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, you were so successful that you had somebody call you that I guess they weren't too happy that you were hitting home runs the way you were.
Oh, that's another story.
To put it bluntly. And here's the Duncan throw you're talking about. Gino, is.
Oh, you even got that one.
Oh, of course, got everything.
Look at this thing. I mean, it's right on.
Look at the hair.
Money.
See the hairs?
Yeah. I'm jealous of that. Look at that.
And he didn't get it cleanly out of the glove. And what a shot.
He was able to make an adjustment.
Yes, he was. In the same motion. Through a perfect strike. And that was one of the all-time greatest on the other side, Johnny Bench.
Clutch throw right there.
That was great.
That was huge, especially in the circumstances.
Well, especially since he hadn't played either, because you hadn't played.
Right.
And so he jumps in Game 7.
But, they stole 13 bases in the comic. I finally was smart to call pitch out, and that didn't even work. And I threw this thing down there, and Canby, I don't know, he came up to get the ball, and apparently it looked like he had him out, but then the replay showed he missed the thinking guy completely. I think it could have been 14 stolen bases.
They called him out anyway.
Yeah, called him out. I think the guy felt sorry for me, the umpire.
Yep. Hey, but you did a good job catching buzzer today. Raleigh throwing out the first pitch, and you got down like you've been catching forever, man.
He says to me, hey, can you get down in a crouch position? I said, yeah, I can get down, but I'm not quite sure if I'm going to get back up.
And he better not bounce it, right?
Yeah, really. That was my biggest concern, him bouncing. I weren't worried about catching it or anything else. I was worried about him bouncing it.
Well, you threw out the ceremonial first pitch opening night here, and I think you were invisible. You just showed up, and here's Gene Tennis. Didn't know that.
I think I snuck in down on you folks.
Yes, you did.
And that was good because Johnny Holmes, right? Gomes, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. Johnny Gomes, and he's a great kid, and I said to him, he says, hey, please don't bounce. I said, let me tell you something, young man. I said, your job is to make me look good. I don't care where I throw it. I said, if you fail to do that, I'm going to tell you something. Sacramento's not too far away. He goes, I thought he took me serious. Just get over it.
He's the old style.
He's the old throwback.
Yes, he is.
I'll tell you, I love that kid.
He would have fit with you guys.
I told him you could have played on my team.
Yeah.
He's a gamer.
He got into Ionetta in Anaheim on Thursday night. Did a pop-up slide into the catcher. Ionetta. Yes, unbelievable.
I'll tell you, I think he's going to do some nice things for you folks here. If he gets an opportunity, maybe, he can get on a roll and you can get him out there for, more consistent bases. And he's got power. I'm going to tell you what, he ever runs into that thing, he's going to go.
Yeah, he's a good clubhouse guy. He's got a lot of energy, and it shows whether it's on the field or in the clubhouse.
And, I had Mr. Barton with the Cardinal organization as a young pup out of high school.
Yeah, Derek traded to the A's and
him and Dan
Herron.
Yeah.
Dan Herron is now with the Angels.
You're right. Had both of those kids over with the Cardinals. But it looks like, you can correct me, I think Barton looks like he's swinging the bat a little better.
Yeah, great shoulder surgery.
Gene, will you stick around one more half inning?
Sure.
All right. So we'll continue with
what's about the hat, man?
Night.
My cat
hat. The hat, huh?
Yeah, you like it, don't you?
Yeah.
You like it.
They look like they could all play right now.
I don't know about that. You need to get your bulb checked.
1-0 game, the Indians leading.
I tell you what, they could play at one time.
Oh, yes. They were good. We had Raleigh up last night. He was talking about the handlebar mustache and how that started for him. How great was it for everybody to have, or to be asked by Charlie to grow a mustache? And you guys set the trend. You started it all in '72.
Well, you know how that all started, don't you? The mustache. He just didn't invent the mustache.
Number 9.
The problem was Reggie had a beard.
Really? Because nobody had facial hair.
Nobody. And Raleigh and Finley had a policy, no facial beards. And Reggie and Charlie were going back and forth at it, and they couldn't send him out. So he said, I ain't shaving my beard. So he said, okay. So Charlie thought he'd use reverse psychology. He would invent this mustache day and have every player and give him $300 to grow a mustache, and figured Raleigh would rebel against it and go ahead and shave his beard off. So he's going to spend $300 to every guy, and thinking Reggie would shave his beard off. And Reggie knew exactly what he was up to. So he said, you guys go ahead and grow that stinking mustache. I'm still keeping my beard. So that's how that all transpired.
That's amazing.
There it is. That was in the World Series.
Yeah.
Now, did he actually score a run in Detroit when he hurt his hamstring?
On the double steal.
Double steal.
Yeah.
And then it was on crutches for the World Series.
Yep. Blew out his hammer.
That one's hit well to left center field, and nobody's going to get it. Jack Hanahan again. He has a double.
I didn't think that ball was going to go that far.
Well, this is Reggie Jackson in that series.
Yeah, right here. Watch this double steal. He tried to look at that.
Ow. Hamstring.
Yep. He tore it all the way down.
Well, freehand blocking the play, but Reggie took his legs right out from under him. And
Jason Donald.
Could you imagine? You got a Hall of Famer sitting on the second sideline. You got to go and play Cincinnati with all the Hall of Famers they had in their lineup. I mean, we were an underdog going in there, and then you lose a quality player like that. You're still behind, way behind that 8 ball.
That was Knowles out also?
Knowles was out too. So we were shorthanded. But I tell you what, our starting pitching and Raleigh and our tremendous defensive plays from Mike Keegan, and Joe Rudy in left field, and, Campy and Greeny up the middle. I mean, if you look at, I had a nice offensive series, but the overall game was basically, it came down to our pitching staff and defense. That's what won that thing.
Michael.
Well, you talk about your series. Everybody talks about the 4 home runs, but there was a lot of big hits you got. I looked it up. You had two out RBI hits in Game 7. Knocked in runs.
Right.
So playing first base couldn't have been bothering you too much.
He loved it. He couldn't wait for me to get traded over here.
I'll tell you what, you're exactly right. Anytime I can get me out from behind that plate. But, it was great to add Ray to our club because, I always had a lot of respect for playing against him when he was with Cleveland. Tremendous catcher and tremendous offensive player. Unfortunately, that collision in the All-Star game, I'd have to honestly say, and I don't know, he'll probably agree with me, that really shortened his career as far as production that he could have. If he hadn't got hurt, and I honestly mean this, and I'm not saying because he's a good friend of mine, he was a Hall of Fame. He had Hall of Fame written all over him.
It's nice of you to say. And that was in Cincinnati, and that was in that same clubhouse. But I wasn't taking ground balls, to play first base.
Yeah. I like guys playing hard, but there's a time and place for things, and that, to me, that was not the. You just slide, you can't take a chance of getting somebody hurt.
Well, you know what? Ray said it best, though. He said, "You know what, though?" And Ray, I don't mean to speak for you, but Ray said, "I can walk in a major league stadium now. The other guy can't." And it's true. Good for you, Ray.
But still, you know what? You got to be able to control, as a player, you got to be able to control these emotions.
Yeah.
And in special events like that, All-Star, you're not out there. You don't slide in second base trying to take a guy out, and you don't run over a guy at the plate. You just slide. Okay, if you're safe, you're safe. You don't run over the guy.
But listen, you wouldn't have been playing first base for those 2 years, and you would have been hitting all those home runs to left field and getting all the free dinners at Francesco's for everybody.
Well, you know what? I'll take my chances. I still would have had you healthy.
It was just a pleasure to get traded over here and to be able to play with you guys. Play on a team that, and I remember Dick Green saying in '73 after you guys had won it, he said, we're ready to go and win it again. And sure enough.
You know, people, you know, when I won 2 world championships while I was on the coaching staff in Toronto, I would tell Cito, I said, you know what? I said, my theory is why it's so tough to repeat is what happens is people put so much effort and so much sacrifice in winning that first one that they don't want to pay that price again. You know?
Gene, thanks for joining us. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
It's always a pleasure, guys.
All right, the 1972 World Series MVP, Gene Tennis. We'll be the 1972 World Series were inducted into the Hall of Fame? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, and there's 4A's players.
Well,
does that include Dick Williams?
They play the Reds. So it's not just the A's players. Is that right, Delirious?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm counting the A's first.
Okay.
So 3 A's players and a manager. Does that sound right? Catfish, Reggie, Riley Fingers, the manager, Dick Williams. So that's 4 from the A's. Bench, Morgan, Sparky. Any of their pitchers? I don't think any of their pitchers. Don Gullett, he's not a Hall of Fame.
Perez.
Tony Perez.
Is he there? He's out. So how many? What's the number?
4 and 4 so far.
What was the total number that Delirious said?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Oh, you're just trying to figure out how many. There's no number. Okay, I thought it was who are they?
No.
I got you.
No. So 4 from the A's, we think.
So Bench, Morgan,
Perez.
Sparky. Concepcion's not there.
All right. We think we did it. A's still trailing 1-0. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. A's stranded 2 in the first, 2 in the second. They went down in order in the 3rd. Pitch, good swing by Smith. He fouls it back.
It's amazing a pitcher falls behind as Gomez did to JEMILE Weeks. 3-0 to start the game. He ended up getting a hit. Now 3-0 to Smith. And he comes back and almost like something that happened today up in the great Northwest.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable
story that was.
A couple unbelievable stories in Major League Baseball today. Check those out as Smith strikes out. Well, what Ray is talking about is not only a no-hitter today, a perfect game by Philip Umber. right-handed pitcher for the Chicago White Sox. He did it up in Seattle, 4-0 the final. 21st perfect game in Major League Baseball history. Philip Humber.
The amazing thing, well, first of all, in the 9th inning, he started the first batter, Saunders, 3-0. Came back and got it. And then the last hitter, and then Ryan, a pinch hitter, he threw him a 3-2 slider way off the plate. And he's got a perfect game on the line. And he does that, and who knows whether Ryan actually swung. It was called a check swing and a strike. And had he not argued, he might have made it to first base, but he argued so much that Brzezinski was able to retrieve the ball and throw him out first. But I mean, what an unbelievable game, and for him to go into the 9th inning, just 96 pitches. And here's Robin Ventura, who will be in town Monday night. And let's see, so the A's will not see him.
We will not see him.
It was the off day. See the
Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect. He'll get a chance to relax for a few days.
So it's always fun. No hitters are fun. Yeah. Perfect games, as we found out with Dallas Braden. Truly something special. 21st in Major League Baseball history. That's it.
21. Dallas Braden was 19, and he already got to exhale, and Roy Halladay did the same thing with the Phillies. Surprised Halladay doesn't pitch one every time he goes out.
Oh, swings and misses. So that's out number 2. And what happened today at Fenway Park, folks, I don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I'll do my best to explain it to you briefly.
A hard slider out of the strike zone. Johnny goes swinging over the slider.
So the Red Sox and the Yankees were playing game 2 of their series. The Red Sox were winning that game 9-0 after 5 innings at home.
Yeah.
9-0 after 5 innings. The Yankees scored 1 in the 6th. No big deal. They scored 7 in the 7th. Still got a lead, right? They scored 7 in the 8th. The Yankees won 15-9.
They scored 15, what do they say, unanswered runs? 15 in the last 4 innings.
Unbelievable. To
defeat the Red Sox. And I don't think I have ever heard, now the Red Sox fans are very knowledgeable. And they like the Red Sox. But Bobby Valentine finally made the pitching change. I think SETH was taken out. And talk about boos raining down on Fenway.
He touched the bill of his cap. It was, I mean, just watching some of it. Swisher had 6 RBIs. Teixeira had 6 RBIs. The Red Sox used 6 relievers. And those 6 relievers gave up 14 runs. Just to watch it, it was unbelievable. So Barton grounds out, and Jenmar Gomez has retired 8 in a row. We're headed to the 5th. Still 1-0 Cleveland. were inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's 5 and the 2 managers. Now remember, Reggie did not play in that World Series.
Come on, Delaire. He was just,
there you go. That's why it's 5 and not 6.
That's the tricky one.
So there you go.
Delaire. Well, he just
Reggie was injured. He did not play. So there you go. Pretty good names out of that. So we're hoping that your old friend Ken Holtzman can.
I hope so.
Come up and see us. He's scheduled to do that. Cespedes is going to let it drop. Not sure what Yoenis Cespedes was doing right there.
Wow.
As the ball falls for Jason Kipnis. He went back and then looked like he had plenty of time to come in and make the catch. Even after he broke back, he still had time.
Yeah, if he comes in, just run. He's got the speed. More than enough time. Maybe he didn't pick it up after he broke back.
So it's a leadoff single for Kipnis. And once you take that step back, it's tough to make up that ground. So here's Chu. And Chu lines one. Weeks has it pop off the back of his glove. He'll throw to second, still get the out there. So Chu hit it hard. Hit the glove, popped up, rolled behind Weeks.
Fortunately, it probably hit in the pocket, popped out, stayed close enough to allow that he could recover quickly enough. And plus, with the runner, Kipnis had to stop. There's my pal. But Kipnis, hang on, we'll start the half inning. Kenny Holtzman is here. What a story.
So Chu is the runner at first. Chu, pretty good base stealer. Santana with a walk and a ground out so far in the game. Takes that one, and it's 0-1.
Well, we are going to be honored to have Ken Holtzman. He has arrived, and we'll have him come on, but one of the great, outstanding left-handed pitchers.
Pitcher in game 1. That's right. 72 World Series.
He could hit too. Great hitter. Oh, what a job.
Chu goes. The throw is not nearly in time, and Chu has the stolen base.
It's amazing. Guys go on a first move, and there's no chance for Kurt Suzuki after top of your screen. Chu is going with a high leg kick, and he's already at second by the time arrives. Just really no chance. Read it perfectly on the first move, and easy slide in the second.
So that's stolen base number 3 for Chu. Well, there's a runner in scoring position. It'll be Santana, and then Hafner will be next. The only run in the game was in the very first inning. Travis Hafner with an RBI ground out. Bases loaded. Swing and a miss. A breaking ball, and Santana swings over top.
And all the pitches that McCarthy has developed into a very good ground ball pitcher, still has the good curveball. Along with the two-seam fastball, the cutter, of course, that he's developed. But you have that type of curveball, and you can mix it in with the other pitches. Makes it a very good offering to a hitter, especially if he's not looking for something to go down.
That one inside corner, strike 3 call. That's strikeout number 2 for Brandon McCarthy.
And all these lefties in there, he's not where you can say, you can pitch carefully. What's the movement? Come back to the inside part of the plate. When you see a hitter move back, as Santana does, and the movement takes the ball in the strike zone, you've done what you tried.
Now McCarthy's got to get Hafner.
He does have a right-hander in the on-deck circle, but Travis Hafner is always tough, very patient. It's a case where an RBI guy might try to expand the strike zone because Hafner knows that the right-hander's in the on-deck circle.
Hafner's RBI in the first inning was his 7th of the year. So now 2-0. Just about set to lose the sunshine for the day.
Makes the infielders happy.
3-0 now to Hafner. Could be McCarthy pitching around.
Yep, I think he is. They're going to put him on, which is a good idea. Don't give him a chance to swing 3-0. Chances with Shelley Duncan, even though he's a good hitter as well. At least takes the bat out of the left-hander's hand.
So for McCarthy, that will go down as his 3rd walk in the game. He's thrown 79 pitches.
Now batting, number 47.
Kurt Suzuki going through the signs, as the case last night when Santana runs at first and second. Suzuki saying what he's going to do at first and second now. And with Santana last night getting the trailing runner Seth Smith when Cespedes stole 3rd. With the runner at first, might not get as good a jump, and that was the case with Smith last night.
Big breaking ball drops in for a strike to Shelley Duncan, who's 0 for 2 tonight. 1 for 5 in the series. That one hit toward Weeks. Gives ground, throws to second, and not in time. So Hafner beat the throw to second base, and the Indians have the bases loaded.
I wonder if JEMILE, although the ball took him almost in the outfield, I just wonder if he had a better chance getting Shelley Duncan at first. Jumped on the high pitch, and Weeks had it played perfectly.
Number 35,
Pennington.
KOTCHMAN.
He might have gotten the toe on the bag right before Hafner got to the bag. Now he missed the bag. Different angle showed it differently.
So it goes as a base hit for Duncan. Here's KOTCHMAN, who takes just a bit high.
Cliff Pennington getting to the bag, stepped on it, tried to step on it, and then stepped over it. So he missed it completely.
He was looking for it.
Yeah. Might have been surprised that he was the one that got the throw.
KOTCHMAN drives one left center field, but Cespedes is going to get over, and he's got it side retired. The Indians leave them loaded. When we come back, Ken Holzman will join us from the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
highlights booth. Ken, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to be back here in Oakland. Yeah, that brings back a lot of memories. 40 years ago, but great memories.
We've had a lot of fun talking about it with you guys.
Is there anything you couldn't do? You could pitch, you could hit, you could run, you look great in uniform. Is there anything you couldn't do?
Well, you'd have to ask my roommate Raleigh about that. He would give you a long list.
Well, we know that. And we wouldn't believe a word he said.
That's right.
But it was a pleasure. And I must say, of course, watching you guys, and I wish I could be in the suite over there with you guys visiting, but Kipe and I are doing baseball games. So
I think when you were my catcher there, I thought we were always on the same page, did the same thing, right? Like you were reading my mind.
Well, I like to tell the story. You could never throw a changeup. You had the greatest curveball, and you had the move like you were always throwing to first base, and they always went back to the bag, and you never threw over. And Kipe, unlike today, where the calls come from the bench, I'd just roll my thumb over and say, throw to first base. He'd go, no, let's not do that. He'd tell me on the mound, no, that's not. Because they were always going back to the bag anyway. But for him to throw a changeup, it just didn't work. So I just separated my hands about 1.5 feet. And I said, fastball, but take that much off.
And that was the key. In other words, I used to work off the fastball. Try to throw it a little slower, then put a little on, take a little off. As long as I had decent control and I could hit his target consistently, and if you could get ground balls in this ballpark, which was a great place to pitch, you probably had a good chance to win.
So the old batting practice fastball, huh?
Yeah, kind of like that. I mean, you know, when you watch in later years Maddox and Glavine throwing outside fastballs, put a little on, take a little off, it was similar to that. I thought Catfish and I probably were alike. Vida was more of a
just
power.
Wore me out.
But we had a 3-man rotation, and you know when you're going to pitch 300 innings a year, you got to be as efficient as possible.
Did you hear that, Cat? 300.
That's a 3-man rotation. Well, there's the career numbers for Ken Holtzman. 54 complete games. How about that?
And another near no-hitter.
Yeah, we almost had it here.
Fly ball,
misjudged fly ball.
Yeah. Tom Verizor hit it and wasn't caught, but there's no doubt, to me, a thrill to catch you because I remember, I want to say the 73 playoffs against the Orioles. You threw maybe 110 pitches, one curveball.
You and I were out there for 11 innings, right?
One curveball. And, you know, Kipe, that's just the way he was able to back off of the fastball and, just like you said, change speeds. And those Brooks Robinson, great hitters, were just rocking back and forth. They didn't know if he's throwing hard or soft.
SOGARD is retired. Ray talks about getting traded to the A's, which happened going into the 73 season. You got traded in the offseason after 71 going into 72, right, from the Cubs.
Right.
What was your feelings about getting traded?
Well, I had asked to be traded. I felt the Cubs were not really doing everything they could to advance a winning team or a winning organization, even though they had a couple of great players.
Sure.
But when I got the news that I was traded over here, I suddenly remembered that the A's had won the division the year before but lost in the playoffs. They were a young team. We were all going to be about the same age, a lot of collegiate players. Yeah. And I just felt right at home, and history proved the rest. But that was the career move for me, was to come here.
So it was Ken Holtzman for Rick Monday, right? Even up.
Trade. Rick Monday for me. It was a fine player, by the way, and played center field for the Cubs for many years. But for me, it was a chance to join a staff. Vida was holding out that year. That was the year that Vida had after his super year, and he was going to hold out. Plus, we were on strike. So they really needed another starter to kind of plug the gap a little bit.
What made you such a great hitter as a pitcher? Because, I mean, obviously, you're at a time before the DH, and you had the bat in your hand, and you were a great hitter.
Well, I batted in the National League, so at least I had an advantage probably over some of the American League pitchers when the DH came in 73. But you know what? I just went up there with the idea of just try not to strike out, try to meet the ball, and I got lucky, I guess, in 74. In fact, you and I both had one, right, in 74?
That's right.
But, yeah, that was a big thrill, hitting the one off of Messersmith in 74.
Ken, stick around. We'll talk some more about that 1972 World Series with the lefty Ken Holtzman when we come back. Top of the 6th, the Indians leading the A's 1-0. We're talking with the lefty Ken Holtzman. And Kenny, my partner Ray tells a story about you, about when you started games, you acted like you really wanted to get this over with and get out of there. And it was great.
I tried to be efficient. I felt that one of the hallmarks of our team was our defense, and they used to come up to me, and not just me, but Catfish and Vida, and they say, hey, look, get the ball over the plate, let him hit quick, we'll catch it, and we'll go home early and go have a beer. And I like that idea.
Hour and a half, let's go.
That's right, an hour and a half, let's play. I'm going to throw all strikes, let's hit it.
So when you see the pitchers nowadays walking around the mound and taking their hats off, probably drives you crazy.
Drives me a little crazy, and I can't get adjusted to the fact that a starter feels that he's done his job for 5 or 6 innings. I mean, I was told by the manager, you're in there till you drop, you know. And I guess the game has evolved, you know, to specialization. The workload on the starter seems a little bit less. So
pitch counts.
Pitch counts.
All about the pitch count.
Right.
How good was Dick Green?
Oh, well, you and I both know that if he'd have got just one hit, even a blooper, he'd have been the MVP of the 74 series because he must have saved about 8 runs. Look, he played second. If I'm going to face the majority of hitters right-handed, the odds are if I'm going to keep the ball away and change speeds, they're going to probably hit the ball over there. Well, what could you want more than to hit the ball to Dick Green, right? And so that was the way I approached it. Let him hit it to Campy or Dick Green, and I like my chances.
Right.
Keep it simple, Ken.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Best way to do it.
We'd have meetings. They have elaborate meetings now. But there was one guy for Ken Holtzman when we had meetings, Dick Allen. You know what he'd say? Walk him.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I didn't walk a lot of guys in my career, you know, but I'd walk him. I didn't want him going up the middle. Or
maybe he was seeing Ray do this too by then.
He got me in the National League so many times. One time I told him what was coming. I figured I couldn't get him out, so I yelled in from the mound what was coming, and it messed with his head. He popped the ball straight up.
He didn't believe you.
No, he didn't believe me. I messed with his head.
Well, he hit a few home runs, so you weren't the only guy.
He got a few.
But actually, when we were playing the White Sox here and Dick Allen came up, I'd sit on the outside corner, and I look out, and Powell's going, move out.
Yeah.
Just move out.
You're not far enough.
Yeah, and finally the umpire said, you've got to get close to the left-handed batter's box.
No, you don't.
Great move to first base, and that philosophy. And, you know, there's no doubt, 320 game winners in 73. You, Catfish, and Vida. And Mooney was in there throwing hard sinkers. But to have 320 game winners, which I don't think has been.
And we had the greatest relief pitcher of the day, and
right.
But yet we still had to have a lot of complete games. I mean, that was just the way it was.
So what's do you have a best memory outside of winning it from that 72 World Series? I know you started game 1, you started game 4, which was a thrilling victory by the Athletics.
You know, that series, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, from the time you're a little boy, you dream of playing in the World Series. And I was the game 1 starter. And I'll never forget, it's kind of a little known thing, but when the team was being introduced right before the game, I was up in the clubhouse because we were the visiting team, changing my shirt, getting ready to, watch the game. So I was up there by myself. All of a sudden, the guy comes up the steps and walks over to my locker, and who is it? Jackie Robinson.
Wow.
The only time I met him in my life, and he came up to me and he kind of put a hand, he said, "You nervous?" He said it in joking, and I talked with him for a couple of minutes, and then he left. He died 8 days later.
He
8 days later, he died. He had a diabetes, severe. So I'm probably the last major league player to talk to Jackie Robinson. I'll never forget that, And then I went out and pitched game 1.
Yeah. And Catfish came in to save it.
Catfish was in the game. Well, that was the days where even if you're not starting, you're in the bullpen.
Exactly.
Because I was in game 4, 7.
Yeah. I think Alvin called out and he said, "Are you ready?" And he goes,
"Oh,
yeah." And that was Catfish. But it was. I tell you, Kite, to come to the park, and know you had a chance to win every day? I mean, from my standpoint, having just been the year before in Cleveland, you were in Chicago, so you had probably the same thing.
Well, I think in '73 when you came, I think it got to be even stronger than that. When you say you have a chance to win, I think we expected to win.
Exactly.
And I think that there was an intimidation factor that we exerted on the other teams.
So Jason Donald has a stolen base. Well, we welcome those of you who have been watching the San Jose Sharks and the St. Louis Blues. Unfortunately, Blues win tonight. The Shark season is over. So, I'm a Blue first round.
I know you are.
So, Indians are going to take a 2-0 lead here as Jason Kipnis slices one into center field. So the stolen base comes up huge. The next pitch, base hit to center field, and it is indeed 2-0. Kipnis is 3 for 4.
And as many Sharks fans as we have in the area, Ken Holtzman lives in the St. Louis area, which you heard him clapping whenever you mentioned the final score.
I do go to a couple of Blues games, and yeah, I follow them where I live. Yeah.
So it ends in 5 games. So once again, the Sharks just can't get over the hump.
Yeah.
They lose in the playoffs again. Runner goes, pitch out, and the throw is in time. Kipnis is thrown out. Mr. Holtzman, pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thanks for coming up. I appreciate it.
Powell, always great to see you, Powell. You're a good man.
It's race time, A's fans, with the Chevron Toy Car Challenge.
Coors Light pregame is brought to you by Crossbrewed Coors Light. It's the world's most refreshing beer. Fun night at the ballpark. Indians leading 2-0, but I had never met Ken Holtzman before. He's awesome.
He is great. And you know, he was
how much fun would he be to just sit down, have a beer with or something? Oh my goodness.
I was listening to him last night. Chris Townsend had done an interview and listened late, and you know, he just pulls no punches, you know. But like he said, you know, just figure out a way to have the hitters hit 25 ground balls to Campy and Greeny, get over the game. But you know, he said, I mean, he was kind of playing it, but hour and a half, because that's how quickly he worked. And you know, you've heard the guys talk about what Dick Williams, you know, and the way the club played, good pitching, good defense.
Down the right field line, and that's going to drop fair. And Pennington's going to have a double.
Well, that's a matter of True playing over towards right center a little bit. because this ball stayed in the air a long time. Cliff Pennington able to get out in front and pull the ball right down the line like a chip shot. And fortunately, had a pretty good idea he was going to land in fair territory and is able to get into second base easily. When I was traded over here, Cut, and I'll just say this and we can close it out, but Dick Williams simply said one thing. We catch the ball and we pitch. And all these guys have talked about pitching and defense. And that's the one thing Dick Williams said. Catch the ball, don't give extra outs, because extra outs and errors result in unearned runs. And when you have pitching and defense, and that's what it is. And that's why all those games, 6 of the 7 games in the World Series, 1-run games.
So, I mean, would it be fair to say that those teams that won, 72, 73, 74, they had some good offensive players and a good lineup, but it wasn't a great mashing lineup, right?
It's almost like the guys could if they wanted to, if they needed to. And I remember a game in New York. Dick Williams was managing, and it was one of those games. Sam McDowell actually was pitching for the Yankees, and a game that was kind of a blowout in the 5th, 6th inning. And he came up and down the bench and he said, I don't know, maybe like in Boston today, down 6 or 7 runs. He said, take one more at bat, and guys take the rest of the day off. They're coming back and winning.
Sure.
They said, okay, we need more runs. And fortunately, I mean, you look at the lineup with Campy and Billy North at the top, and you get Joe Rudy, Sal Vando, Reggie, Gene Tennis. You know, I mean, there's some great offensive guys in there. But they also knew there was great pitching and defense.
That one drilled to center field. Tagging up is Pennington. He'll go to third. But it doesn't sound like you guys sat back and waited for the 3-run.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
Get runs in many different ways.
But again, you have the speed and Camp in 73, 74. Of course, Billy was traded from Chicago, as was Kenny Holtzman before the 73 season. And so Campy and Billy at the top 1 and 2 set the table for the middle part of the batting order. Dick Green and I said, we're just happy to be holding up the bottom.
Hey, that's right. There's runs down there too, right? So it looks like we're going to get a pitching change. Genmar Gomez, the young starter for the Indians, goes 5 1/3. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts.
California is brought to you by Chevrolet, proud to support youth baseball in cities and towns across the country, and by Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, you can try the new Chipotle Chicken Club. Make it a combo with fries and a drink.
Lots of Raleigh Fingers mustaches tonight, as we're honoring the 1972 World Series champion Athletics. Genmar Gomez, 5 1/3, 4 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. And taking the ball from him is the veteran right-hander Dan Wheeler. Indians gave Wheeler a minor league contract, invited him to spring training, and made the ball club, and he's in their bullpen. Been around a long time. First pitch to Cespedes is in for a strike. Wheeler is 34 years old.
Well, he doesn't throw hard, but you saw first pitch slider to Cespedes, and the A's second opportunity was runner at third, less than 2 outs. They did not do it in the second inning. Well, those are the opportunities that you have to take advantage of, and here's another one. Somehow get him in, a ground ball gets him in.
Fastball way high. Wheeler has had big league stops in Tampa Bay, New York, Houston, Tampa Bay again, and last year in Boston. Pitched in 47 games for the Red Sox last year. One pitch to Cespedes outside. Cespedes a walk and a ground out. He drives this one right center. Brantley's going back, still going back. Warning track, he's got it. Plenty deep to get Pennington home. It's a sacrifice fly for Cespedes, and the A's are on the board.
Well, it's good the A's scored the run. I think Cespedes looking for a little bit more. But that just your inside-out swing and up in the air and sitting and feeling a little bit of swirling wind. Might have knocked it down a little bit, but not the real line drive that he hit against Delabar of the Mariners. But stayed closed, got the outfield and right center, didn't roll over. Although the ground ball also would have scored Pennington, but at least the A's got this one in.
So that's RBI number 15 for Cespedes. And here's Seth Smith. And that run charged to Genmar Gomez. Seth Smith is fouled out and struck out. He's 0 for 2. Shift is on as Donald, the shortstop, is quite a ways over to the right of second base. And just playing the shortstop spot, a couple steps in. We have not seen this shift with Seth Smith hitting this year.
I talked to Smith about seemed to have found the hole between first and second, and said it surprised himself. But the pitch he just got, and he opened up and had a pretty good pitch to hit the left field. They're staying away from him, which says a lot that they expect him to try to pull the ball.
Smith crowds the plate a little bit. Good swing there, and he fouled it back 3-2. Angels are leading the Orioles 5-3. Good game in the bottom of the 7th inning in Anaheim. Angels trying to make it 2 in a row over the Orioles.
Texas actually lost.
Yeah, they split. They won the first game, and then they lost the second game of that doubleheader.
Well, they scored 9 in the first inning in the first game, or something like that. They were up 9-0 in the first game of the day nighter.
So Texas and the Tigers split the doubleheader. So the Rangers now 12-3. Detroit 10-5. Both those teams off to good starts, as expected. Verlander got the win in the second game of that doubleheader, which was a 3-2. There's a shot left field, and that's a base hit. Smith shoots one to left. So he breaks an 0 for 10 slide.
Well, they kept pitching him outside, and that is great hitting. Protecting with a couple of strikes, but you got to pitch outside and they stay there. Might as well get a hit to the opposite field.
Johnny, go!
So here's Johnny Gomes with 2 outs. Gomes had a base hit in the second inning, and then he struck out swinging in the 4th. He's 2 for 4 in the series with a couple of walks. He takes a big rip and pops a foul back. So Coco Crisp still out of the lineup.
Wasn't your 24-hour flu.
No, it was not.
Felt it Wednesday, didn't play Thursday, didn't play last night, not on the lineup tonight.
Well, I guess you have flu like that. And once you do get better, you're still a little bit weak. Slider down and away. 1-1 the count.
And watch Wheeler as he goes into set position, and we saw him in Tampa, saw him in Boston, and Gomez game on the line did give up the 1 run, but watch Wheeler as he comes to set position. He moves the ball in his glove, and his glove is trying to avoid tipping pitches. He does throw a split finger fastball. Sometimes pitchers can't put the grip, and then they change the grip, and so eliminates any possibility of doing something out of the ordinary.
Cued off the end of the bat by Gomes. So 1-2 the count.
I think Matt, is it Garza? No, there's another guy with the Cubs.
Dempster.
Yeah. Oh gosh, he'd drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Flipping, flopping his glove around so he wouldn't tip a pitch.
Plus, you got to look at that as a hitter when getting ready to look for the ball coming out of his hand.
I didn't like to look at it watching it, much less hitting it. Same pitch Johnny swung at last at bat against Gomez and struck out. Although the slider by Wheeler not quite as hard as Jemar Gomez slider.
Short lead for Smith. I would imagine Johnny Gomes and Dan Wheeler were teammates with the Rays.
Thinking about that.
Both spending a fair amount of time down there. So a good battle here between Wheeler and Gomes. His bullpen is quiet. Another foul ball. That one kind of hung on the inside of the plate. So another 2-2 from Wheeler to Gomes. Blocked by Santana, so a full count. So that will get Seth Smith moving.
And because the block, he's moving from first and not from second.
Wheeler taking a lot of time on the mound. Now he steps onto the rubber. Runner goes, and the ball's drilled left center deep. Brantley on the move, and he is near the wall, and he makes the catch. Holmes just missed it. A's get a run, and we are on to the 7th inning. Indians 2, Athletics 1. On defense, first and second sacrifice bunt situation, perfectly played by Derek Barton. Makes a good throw, and the A's get the lead runner. That's the way you're supposed to do it if you're a first baseman. Barton does it well. So there's our Home Depot doing more on defense. Top of the 7th inning. 2-1. The Indians lead the A's. Brandon McCarthy out there. That was pitch number 97 from McCarthy. He faces Chu, Santana, and HAFNER. Swing and a miss. Chu is 1 for 3. He singled in the first. He reached on a fielder's choice and stole a base in the 5th inning, but was stranded. Did he go? He did not. It's Darryl Cousins.
Well, this is what Cousins saw, and that would be a no swing.
Checks his swing again. So the count 2-2. The lefty Brian Fuentes gets up. And now full count. Over 100 pitches for McCarthy. Lefty in the Indians bullpen, Tony Sipp. Chu chops one. Pennington's going to have to charge quickly to first, and that will do it for Shin-Soo Choo.
Well, the bullpen is up, but I would have to think that Bob Melvin, with Brandon McCarthy, again, not getting a lot of run support, but pitching very effectively. Run in the first, run last inning, but I'd like to see him get through this 7th inning. Maybe his offense could get some runs and let the bullpen take over. But no doubt, Bob Melvin, the manager, believes in that man, number 32, to get the job done. Managers would say, bottom line, you want to get wins. Not necessarily individually, but team wins. But so McCarthy, boy, I'd just like to see him get some consistent run support.
Carlos Santana is 0 for 2 with a walk. The walk came back in the first inning. Close pitch, called the ball by home plate umpire Alan Porter. Angels still leading the Orioles. It's 6-3 in the top of the 8th inning. As we said, the Rangers split their doubleheader, and of course the White Sox beat Seattle 4-0. A perfect game for Phil Humber. The Rays beat the Twins 4-1. James Shields over Carl Pavano in that game. So the Rays get over the 500 mark. They get their 8th win of the year. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 4 for McCarthy. So he's got Santana twice.
2-2 on him, and just went to the outside part of the plate, and Santana opening up. Brandon McCarthy nailed the outside corner.
Travis HAFNER.
We talked about the 100th anniversary of the Red Sox in the game yesterday at Fenway Park. They invited, and over, I think it was about 240 former players. Anybody that played for the Red Sox that was available to come back did. 240 players they flew in for the 100th birthday.
That's awesome.
Of Fenway Park.
Hafner gets it through the shift, so he's got a 2-out single.
You know what they did in the 8th inning?
Well, I'd like to know what they did in the 8th inning today, but what is it?
Well, at the bottom of the 8th, they always play Sweet Carolina. Neil Diamond, evidently Caroline Kennedy was there to throw out the first pitch.
Oh, that's nice.
Someone said the grandfather was there back when it opened and threw out the first pitch. So
number 47,
mentioned that.
SHELLEY
I heard that.
DUNCAN.
Supposedly the song by Neil Diamond that they play at Fenway Park every bottom of the 8th inning is
for her.
Yeah,
I've heard
Caroline
that too.
Kennedy, and she was there, and they did the song. Another sellout crowd, Fenway Park. I think somehow, some way, Red Sox will make sure they sell out of the game.
Yep. They'll have a sellout tomorrow. It'll be an unhappy group, but they will have a sellout after it happened today. See, they got Marlon Byrd. Red Sox, yeah. Just saw that. Yeah. They acquired Marlon Byrd from the Cubs.
At 110, Brandon McCarthy just trying to get through the 7th inning. 110's not a lot for him.
Trying to get through the 7th. Facing Shelley Duncan. 0-2 the count. Sounds like the Cubs will be paying most of the salary. It's a final year of a 3-year contract that Marlon Byrd signed.
Two of the oldest stadiums in baseball. Trading players.
But you're right, the Red Sox. Their outfield has been Darnell McDonald in left, Cody Ross in center, Ryan Sweeney in right, and that's not how they drew it up in the offseason.
Oh, and a ball that Nick Swisher hit up the wall in center field today, misplayed. No way going to be caught. Ended up resulting in 2 runs that put the Yankees ahead.
McCarthy reaches up and grabs it, flips to first. So indeed, Brandon McCarthy gets through 7th inning stretch from the O.co Coliseum. 2-1 Indians. on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Topics they will cover, of course, the 72 reunion night here at the Coliseum. Sharks, well, they wanted to stay alive. They did not. Sharks lost tonight to the Blues. That series is over. And the Warriors and the Rockets playing tonight. So check it all out. Henry Wolf and John Henry Smith will host Sportsnet Central tonight, 10:30, CSN Bay Area. Brandon McCarthy has pitched extremely well, but he and the A's trailing the Indians 2-1. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. Tony Sipp comes in. We saw Sipp last night. And Aaron Cunningham comes in the game, and he is in left field. Shelley Duncan is done for the night. So Manny active, getting a little more defense out in the outfield with Cunningham. Tony Sipp just faced 2 hitters last night. Derek Barton tonight has reached on a fielder's choice. That was in the 2nd inning. Bounced out in the 4th inning. He followed by Suzuki and then Sogard.
It's all about matchups, and that's why gone to Sipp this part of the batting order.
Slider in first drive.
Barton and Suzuki, the right-handed switch hitter, left. So a lot of times, or I wouldn't say not all the time, they know exactly how hitters hit, lefties versus righties, etc. In this case, lefty against lefty. Sipp against Barton.
Fastball is high. Is hit high to center field. Routine for Michael Brantley. And that's out number 1. Good crowd tonight. 25,258. So good crowd and a gorgeous night. Even as we get a bit later into the evening, still very comfortable.
Suzuki.
All the more reason that the A's kept about Melvin. There's not like these 1-run deficits trying to come back. A couple of opportunities remaining. 1-run loss last night in the opener of the series. Indians continue to play well on the road.
One out for Kurt Suzuki, and he hits one hard toward the shortstop, Jason Donald. 2 outs. So Suzuki 1 for 3. So Dan Wheeler goes 2/3 of an inning in relief of Genmar Gomez, and now Sipp here in the 7th.
Now batting third baseman, number 28, Eric SOGARD.
Eric SOGARD looking for his first hit tonight. Fuentes back up throwing, so it could be that we will see Brian Fuentes in the 8th inning. A couple of lefties will be the first 2 hitters in the 8th inning, KOTCHMAN and Hanigan.
Well, Sogard would like to have one back in the 2nd inning, the line drive. That was caught by Donald. Runners at 1st and 3rd, robbed of a base hit. Difference in the game, 1 run.
Well, the A's had 3 hits in the first 2 innings, but since then they have just 2, both those coming in the 6th. They were retired in order in the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. Outside corner, strike 1 and 2. So Sipp looks much sharper tonight than he did last night. 93 miles an hour. So Sip throwing hard from the left side.
Well, typically staying away from Eric Sogard, the lefty, and slider away, fastball away, and they're playing him away.
And that one right down the middle. Strike 3 called. Sogard could not pull the trigger, so Tony Sip has a 3-up, 3-down inning. We're through 7. 2-1 Tribe.
Throws it over to Brian Fuentes, but no doubt job that he did. Good fastball inside to Santana. He said struck out 4 tonight. The breaking ball to Jack Hanahan has been very tough on the Athletics. And Santana, so McCarthy, 7 innings, getting the handshake from Bob Melvin, telling him his night's finished, and would like to at least get a no decision because those numbers are worthy of more than a loss for sure. And Bob Melvin hopes the offense can pick it up to be able to do that.
2-1 Indians lead. And it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Oil Change, Tune-Up, and Smart experts. Brian Fuentes comes in. His first pitch is outside to Casey KOTCHMAN. 7th appearance for Fuentes. Off to a pretty good start. 7 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings. Swing and a miss. Foul tip. 1-1 count.
In fact, you know, we talk about on the road they like to play 500 at home and do well on the road and do well at home, and it's just the A's coming off a very good road trip, 4-3, 3 straight against the Angels, and now struggling to score runs. 1-run loss last night, trailing by a run tonight. You need to play better at home. You need to have a 750, 500 on the road. Another great crowd on hand tonight.
A pop-up, shallow right field. Weeks reaches up and makes the catch. So 1 out here in the 8th inning. 6 of the last 13 meetings between these two teams have been decided by 1 run.
Number 9.
And the Indians have won them all. How about that?
Hanahan.
Well, that's not what we wanted to
Nope.
hear.
Nope. And they did it in the 90s when they moved into then Jacobs Field.
Long time ago.
Well, they had some teams. Sandy Alomar Jr. last night. Part of that great run of the Tribe going to postseason, winning just kind of an automatic. Sellouts every game.
First pitch strike to Jack Hanahan. Jared Weaver is trying for the complete game. He got the win over the A's on Monday. In fact, that was the only game the Angels won in that series. I think he only went 6 innings. Tonight he's going for the full 9. Into the 9th inning.
He was upset when he came out in the game against the A's in the 7th inning because I think the pitch count wasn't high enough for him to have to come out of the game.
1-2 to Hanahan, who is 2 for 3 tonight.
Same as last night, Vinny Pastano, who was the 8th inning.
Hanahan stays alive. Hanahan's had a good series. He's 3 for 5 with a couple of doubles. He knocked in 3 last night. So that game is now final, and Jared Weaver with a complete game. Final is 6-3. The Angels over the Orioles. Another 2-2 to Jack Hanahan. Strike 3 call, a little delayed call by Alan Porter.
Well, I stand in the outside corner, and Jack's a pretty good eye, but like Brian Fuentes, nailed it. Surprising. Hanahan with a good fastball, as he says sometimes you want to just rear back and throw it as hard as you can, and this is what home plate umpire saw, just maybe outside the black, but close enough. 17 inches, and there's kind of a black rim around the plate.
Sure.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Painting the black.
That's right.
On the black. All these baseball terms and phrases that we use, they all come from somewhere.
The guy who was sitting up here could live on the black. Kenny Holtzman never knew what the middle part of the plate was. He and Raleigh and his staff.
Line drive, base hit by Jason Donald. Donald is 2 for 4.
This stolen base 2 innings ago turned out to be huge because the score position brought in by Kipnis with 2 outs. It's a difference in the game. Got a great jump. And this one just went down and got the low fastball. Here come all the lefties for the Indians. A's now what? 4 lefties in the bullpen?
Yes, they do. Levins, Fuentes, Norberto, Figueroa.
I think Norberto's got the night off after back-to-back outings in Anaheim and at the Coliseum.
One to Michael Brantley, who is 0 for 4. 1 for 8 in the series. See if Donald takes off again.
It's where a lefty can control his own game. Dallas Braden does it so well when he's pitching. He's left-hander, and if you're a lefty, you're looking right at the base runner. No reason not to kind of control your own game, even though you're not told to throw over. See the guy take off, kind of freeze him, and try to pick him off.
Ball hit up the middle. Weeks dives, can't get it. Donald will not stop. He'll go all the way around to third. So a 2-out rally for the Indians. Another left-handed hitter, Jason Kipnis, steps in.
Jason Kipnis.
Well, the whole purpose is to have the lefty, Brian Fuentes, face the lefties in this part of the lineup. 2 quick outs, and now back-to-back hits. One by righty, one by lefty.
So Kipnis has had a very good night. He is 3 for 4, 3 singles. He has scored a run, and he has knocked in a run. now have 12 hits in the game. They've now hit the A's 12-5. Fastball's a little bit high. 1-1 the count. Brantley inches off. He's got a decent lead at first. Ball outside. This with kind of an interesting setup. This one's hit high to right center. Going back is Reddick. He's at the wall, and it's off the wall. Both runs are going to score. Kipnis is going to be at third with a stand-up triple, and that one hurt. 4-1.
Where did that come from? It looked like just an easy fly ball. And I think Reddick thought it was just a fly ball. Put up his hand telling Cespedes that he was going to be able to catch it. And granted, Kipnis hit it hard, but it just looked like it was going to be a fly ball. Let's see how close Reddick came to catching it. Oh, he misplayed it, misjudged it, because the ball hit just to the side of his glove. He went up and actually jumped too high. Jumped too high. Because I just watching him, it looked like it was going to be just a routine fly ball. It did carry a little bit farther, but
this one down the left field line. Wow. Gomes into the corner, slides in. He cannot quite get it. Watch where Reddick's glove is, and then watch where the ball hits off the wall.
Right there. Yep. And then actually the wall might have stopped it. Kind of drifted on it. And then Johnny Gomes to left field. A dive banging into the wall. He is filthy. Cliff Clayman's going to really be busy tonight before tomorrow's game. But Johnny Gomes, all out effort. And fortunately he stopped before he got to the bottom part of the concrete.
And that one to the backstop. Kipnis comes in to score. It's 5-1 Indians.
Well, from a one-run game
with 2 outs and nobody on.
2 outs and nobody on. 1 run to 4 runs.
Single, single, triple, wild pitch, and the Indians have tacked on 3 in the top of the 8th.
Well, change up outside. Kurt Suzuki. The ball just scooted under his catcher's mitt as he went out to block it.
Left field. That's hit pretty well. Gomes getting back near the wall, and he had it, and it pops out of his glove. Chu will go to second, and he'll stop there. Gomes hit that wall hard. He had the ball in his glove just for a moment.
Ball carrying very well, and even the ball that was hit by Kipnis to right field carried, and this one. It's very hard, especially as this was more of a line drive, to get back to the wall and then go up.
Looks like it hit off the thumb of his glove. So it goes as a double. Here's Carlos Santana. Way outside. Watch the thumb of his glove.
Tried to close it when he felt it, but wasn't close to the webbing to be able to secure it.
The 1-0 to Santana, who's 0 for 3, has struck out a couple times. And he has a walk. Oh, it was such a quiet start to this half inning.
Hop up to second. Big fastball for a strikeout.
Gomes coming in, and he goes into a slide, and he caught it. Make that a dive, folks. Diving catch by Gomes, and that saved another run.
He's tired.
So Johnny Gomes working hard in this inning, and so are the Indians. They scored 3 times to take a 5-1 lead. Here's our game summary. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Our highlights tonight are from the pregame ceremonies. The A's honoring the 1972 World Champion Athletics, who beat the Cincinnati Reds in 7 games. That's the wife of late Catfish Hunter. First pitch thrown out by Raleigh Fingers. MVP Gene Tennis. What a great picture that is, huh? Tonight's box score, 5-14-0 for the Indians, 1-5-0 for the Athletics. So a lot of work to do now, thanks to that 3 spot in the top of the 8th by the Indians.
Part of the group coming in, Mike Hegan, of course, played first base, as Gene Tennis talked about. Mike Hegan worked for the Cleveland Indians on radio with Tom Hamilton. Retired after last year, and how perfect for him for the weekend to be the same weekend that his team that he worked for in broadcasting in town playing the Athletics. It could have been a little bit nicer.
Well, Mike Hegan supposedly made a handful of great plays in that World Series.
Yeah, he was a great first baseman. Defensively, there's nobody better playing first base.
Vinny Pastano is the new pitcher when it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So Pastano comes in here in the 8th inning. Pastano pitched last night. Pitched the 8th inning as well. Through 11 pitches. That's the newest Athletic, Pedro Figueroa. Could have a major league debut here, top of the 9th inning. One or two to Weeks, who singled back in the first inning, stole a couple bags, but was stranded, and he has grounded out twice to the right side. Skies one to right center. And it's going to be the center fielder, Brantley, who calls off Chu for out number 1. Here's our McDonald's true story for tonight. We're going to show it one more time, folks. The final out of the 1972 World Series.
Angel Manuel, Joe Rudy running in from the outfield. And Loma and Dick Williams.
It's a famous shot.
Oh, yeah. Joe just jumped up on the dugout. You know those Cincinnati Reds fans.
Yeah, they love that. But it's funny so the A's are winning Game 7, 3-2, bottom of the ninth. Riley gets 2 outs, and then he hits a bat.
Yeah.
So now the tying runs on base, and here comes Pete Rose. Riley just wanted to make it a little more interesting.
Oh, yeah.
He got Rose on that fly ball.
He wanted to hit the sure hands. I mean, the problem Rose had, he hit the ball in the air. He's more of a line drive, singles hitter. Try maybe to go a little bit deeper.
But 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Reddick flips one to left field, shallow. Cunningham racing in, and he's not going to get it. Reddick has his first hit, 1 for 4.
Cunningham charged it, reached down with his bare hand, kept the ball from going past him, which would have resulted in a double. But A's need base runners, and this is at least 1 to start it. Watch Cunningham reach out, grab bare hand, and took that funny spin once it hit the turf.
So Cespedes to hit. Cespedes had a sacrifice fly in the 6th inning. He walked in the first, so he's 0 for 1. Big swing. That's a fun swing to watch.
What if he plays golf? He's committed a fun golf tournament on
I want to watch. I want to watch.
But this bat speed, I mean, that gets through the zone very quickly.
Down and swinging. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Cespedes strikes out, a hit, a runner left. So 9th inning coming up. Indians 5, A's 1.
of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Ninth inning, 5-1 Indians over the A's. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. Major League debut for Pedro Figueroa, 26 years old. He's a left-hander from the Dominican Republic. Signed by the Athletics way back in 2003. Pitching well in Sacramento.
Yeah, first pitch, 94-mile-an-hour fastball facing Prong. I mean, you go back home, Dominican, and what's your first hitter you faced? What was the pitch? To the Prong. Fastball, 94. Swing and miss.
That one bounced foul, so it's 0-2. Figueroa had Tommy John surgery a couple years ago, and he really didn't pitch much last year, still recovering from that. But he came to spring training this year, and he had a pretty good spring. Started out well in Sacramento. Pitched in 5 games, did not allow a run, and now he's in the big leagues. To pitch. Broken bat roller slowly hit. Shift was on, so it's Pennington who fields the ball on the right side of second base, throws out Hafner.
Got 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Breaking ball, broken bat. First hitter in the big leagues.
Now batting, number 2, Aaron Cunningham.
So here's Aaron Cunningham. His first at bat tonight came in the game for defense in left field. Fastball is high to Cunningham. Cunningham was an Athletic for a short period of time. Played in the big leagues with the A's in 2008 and 2009. But then was traded to the San Diego Padres. Shoots that one foul. It was Aaron Cunningham and Scott Hairston for Kevin Kuzminoff and Eric Sogard. That was the trade. Fastball up and away, 2-2, 95 miles an hour from Figueroa. Something loose out behind Reddick. It's just a regular baseball. There's also some paper surrounding Reddick out there.
And they don't have beach balls in Oakland.
No, that would not happen here. Let's take a beach ball to the game so we can toss it out on the field. What a great idea.
Wondering how much Kurt Suzuki caught Figueroa during spring training. These are always exciting times for a catcher when that comes in. Got 8 pitches to figure out how he's throwing.
He walks Cunningham. Pitch was way inside.
Like one of the best. The guy comes out of the bullpen. The catcher goes out and introduces himself to the pitcher because he's never seen him before. What do you throw?
Number 35.
You've probably been there.
KOTCHMAN.
Well, last night A's pitchers walked 9. Tonight they've walked 4. So KOTCHMAN hits with 1 out. Foul behind home plate. In the bottom of the 9th, scheduled to hit for the A's is Smith, Gomes, and Barton. Barton has it, spins around. Good throw to second. Nicely turned double play. 3-6-3, and that will do it. The A's need action in the bottom of the 9th. They trail 5-1. It is the bottom of the 9th. The A's need lots of base runners. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. The Indians bring in Jairo Asensio. Asensio was acquired right at the end of spring training from the Atlanta Braves. It's needed another arm down in their bullpen, and they got Asensio. It'll be Smith, Gomes, and Barton for the A's in the bottom of the 9th. Smith rolls that one foul. Ty Waller will track it down.
Back to drawing board for Cespedes. And last night, 3 hits. His first 3-hit game. Couple of singles to right field, driving home a couple of runs. Actually, single to right, single to left, drove in runs.
On the ground to the second baseman, Kipnis. Kipnis is the hero tonight for the Indians. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. So it's been a quiet night offensively for the Athletics.
Johnny, go!
So here's Johnny Gomes. Gomes 1 for 3. And he takes a fastball in the first strike. Well, that 3 runs after 2 were out in the top of the 8th inning was really the killer for the A's.
Changed everything.
It changed the mood in the stadium. The mood in the dugout a little bit too.
Well, there's just so many more things that Bob Melvin could do with a down by run, just runner on base.
Yep.
But down 4, and that's a huge difference.
Eric Sogard's got the right idea, though. He's a little ways down. Not going to hit for a while, but he's got the helmet on and the bat ready. Gomes way out in front. Drives one. Gets to the second deck. Not quite. Suzuki will hit 4th in this inning, so it'd be nice to have him get an at bat. Gomes, this one on a line, but into the corner foul.
By Johnny Gomes, very quick. A lot of times you see a hitter try to start a little bit quicker and get fooled on pitches, but Johnny seems to wait right at the last instant, but still very strong. And just all strength with pitches inside.
On 2 to Gomes. Another fastball, foul back. So Jairo Asensio trying to finish it off for the Indians.
And also Maniac to the manager of the Indians. Difference of that 3 runs make it a 4-run game, non-save situation. So his closer, who pitched last night, Perez, it's a night off tonight, at least to this point. He would like to force him to have to get ready.
2 pitch hit hard on the ground, backhanded by Donald. Straightens up, his throw is low, and Gomes beat it. Johnny Gomes runs pretty well.
Yeah, he does. And Jason Donald, even though he caught the ball in the outfield grass, took a little bit of extra time, and maybe underestimating the speed, the hustle of Johnny Gomes to be able to beat it out. And even though the short hop handled by KOTCHMAN at first, hanging breaking ball, and we've seen it all spring, beginning of the season. And he's run hard, and so that wasn't just because short hop. It was basically that Johnny Gomes just beat it.
Yep.
Great hustle.
Mark goes after the first pitch, drives on the right. Chu's going back. He's near the wall, and it is off the top of the wall. Chu plays it, gets it in quickly. He's got a very strong arm, and stopping at third is Gomes. Martin almost pumped one out of here.
How great would that be to be down by a run instead of 3 or 4? Chris Perez, the closer, is getting loose, but Derek Barton not wasting any time. Fastball, maybe even out of the strike zone. Asensio, I think he thought he'd given up a home run. And I think maybe Derek Barton thought he'd hit one. Another foot, he would have. Still surprised to hear Joe Riddy say last night how the ball carries now better. I think the guys would, well,
I would say, though, it's carrying well tonight.
Well, tonight is because it's warmer weather.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the marine layer really is not affecting balls in the air. I think Albert Pujols is experiencing the marine layer in Anaheim a little bit more than the A's are so far.
There's the closer. So the A's have accomplished one thing. They've got the Indians closer up here in the bottom of the ninth. Kurt Suzuki is 1 for 3. That is a foul ball, and it got Santana. Right in the thigh.
So watch as his left knee goes down, expose the thigh. You don't wear shin guards for a reason. You go down on a knee on just a basic ball that's not in the dirt, you don't have the protection.
Kaiahue will hit for Sogard. To pitch, and again Santana gets hit 2 pitches in a row.
And you know it affected him and hurt him because he slammed his mask in the ground. Check the left thigh. Goes down on the knee again in exactly the same spot. You know, to me, I don't know why catchers catch that way. Because
so don't go down to a knee unless you have to.
There's no reason. Those old balls are thigh high, basically, and then they're found off into the thigh.
Looks like if you were just to stay in the squat position, it'd probably hit you in the shin guard right around the knee.
Yeah. They should have some protection.
So you think Kurt may say to him, Carlos, what are you doing? Stay in the squat. You'll be okay.
Sandy Alomar might be the one. Remember, Carlos Santana's a converted catcher, so it's not his original position. He may want to go back to the original.
Swing and a miss. So he gets Suzuki. Off-speed pitch with a lot of downward movement. And Suzuki headed back to the dugout. He struck out a couple of times tonight.
Well, that act is going to his closer. He's going to pinch hit, and it's going to be the right-hander coming in anyway. Splitter worked.
So pitching change. Perez, the closer, is coming in. Perez got the save last night. So, tying run needs to be in the on-deck circle. If you come into a game, come into a middle of an inning, and the tying run is in the on-deck circle. So for Chris Perez, this is a save situation.
So if the tying run gets to the plate,
Kaiaue is going to hit for Sogard, and first pitch he sees is way inside. Kaiaue can get on. Weeks would be next. Gomes is the runner at third. Bart is the runner at second. Inside again, same spot.
So Santana had 2 balls off his left thigh, and then he has 2 pitches that he set up outside. Both of them almost took his left shoulder out of the socket trying to reach back. Same way. And Alan Porter is saying thank you, Carlos.
Twice in a row.
He was right in the middle of where the ball was coming, and Porter didn't move as Santana moved out.
So Perez not close with his first 2 pitches. That one's driven to center. Brantley's going back. Now he's under it. He's got it, and that's the ball game. So Chris Perez comes in. He gets the final out, retiring Kaiaue, and the Cleveland Indians win game 2 by a final score of 5-1. So nice crowd tonight honoring the 1972 world champion Oakland A's, but the 2012 A's cannot send the fans home happy as they come up short again. 5-1 is your final. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Chris Townsend and Greg Cadaret starts right now.